Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to be telling you a few things that I wish I knew before I actually started art. You don't want to get overloaded on supplies because then you'll have a ton of supplies that you don't know what to do with, a ton of supplies that you don't know how to use, and a ton of supplies that just sit there stagnant. One time I got some new art supplies and then I used them like once and then I never used them again. So the moral of the story is that you're not going to use everything that you get, but don't overspend. Learn the basics. This seems like such a simple thing to say with being a beginner artist, but sometimes we just skip ahead of ourselves and want to go straight for drawing Batman or straight for drawing the full figure whenever we don't know anything about shapes or form, gesture, or anything like that. So it's always good to learn the basics before you get into actually doing a large piece of artwork. So if you do a portrait, you want to know things like little nuances for portraits, like your corners of your eyes actually line up with the edges of your nose, and the middle of your eyes lines up with the corners of your mouth. Another thing is that if you draw a triangle from here down, it's the edge of your chin. Now that's not the case for everybody. People are different. Sometimes it's here down is the edge of the chin, but some people have broad chins. As far as the more nuanced things, you'll learn those as it goes. So just sit back, draw your circles, draw your cylinders, and practice, practice, practice. In this example, I'm showing how I draw a circle with a compass. If you're just starting out, a compass is a great tool to use to get those perfect circles. You can also use a circle template, which I've shown here, the center line down the middle of the head. This helps with lining up the eyes, nose, and mouth and chin. Typically, whenever you're drawing a head, it is good practice to draw a curved line across the center of the circle so you know that the eyes are supposed to go there. The reason you draw a curved line is because your head is not a flat surface. If you mess up, you can always erase and redraw the line. That is if you're using a pencil, which I hope you are. You don't need fancy tools or anything like that to draw. These are just some tools that will help you out. It helps whenever you're drawing the chin to draw the same length line going down from each side of the circle and connecting those lines with a curved triangle. Whenever you are drawing the facial features, always go from the middle ground between the eyes and the chin. That's where your nose is going to be. And the middle of where your nose and your chin is where your mouth is going to be. It always helps to erase your work and go over the cleanest parts so you know which lines are the correct lines. Otherwise, it will look really messy whenever you go to transfer this. If you were going to transfer this using a charcoal transfer, or you can also use a light box. That's what I use to get my transfers. And I'll do another video for that. And here I am redrawing the center line again, just so I can make sure that my lines are lined up. And they were not, so I erased. And then redrew the lines in the same spots that they roughly were in. When I was talking about doing the features of the face, it helps to draw straight lines where you want your eyes to be. Your eyes are one eye apart in the middle and one eye from the side of your head. So it helps to draw those lines to ensure that you have the correct distance, and it helps to ensure that you have the correct size of nose. Otherwise your nose will look really big or really small. See how the corner of the nose lines up with that line? And then the corner of your eye lines up right there. And then we'll draw the other eye. And if you don't get your proportions right the first time, it's okay. You can still go back and erase, which is exactly what I did. Sometimes if you draw them a little bit too curved on the side, you can go back and do it again. What I didn't mention earlier is that the top of your ear is always at the top of your eye, and the bottom of your ear is always at the bottom of your nose. And notice the center of the eye is where the corners of the mouth are. And typically your bottom lip is a fourth of the way from your chin, depending on who you are. Sometimes people have larger chins, as I mentioned before. And this is the demo, just adding little tiny details in there just to make it actually look like a human face. But yeah. This brings me to my next topic. Art takes time. You're not going to sit there and immediately draw the best drawing you could ever draw in your life. It took me time to get from this to this. Be patient. Don't rush it. If you rush your art, it's not going to look good. You want to be confident in the lines that you place, and you want to be confident in the colors that you choose. If you don't, then you'll end up with muddy colors or squiggly lines. These can make your artwork look off. Not really bad, but off. So just remember that art takes time, and that's really it. Some of my pieces take anywhere from 2 to 8 hours of work, mainly because I do watercolor, but you know, what can you do? Don't imitate. Imitating other artists is fine if you're learning how to do certain techniques. However, whenever you do that, sometimes people will think that you're stealing their art by doing a direct copy of it. You want to not try to stick to a particular style whenever you first start out, because your style will develop over time. It goes back to the previous things that I've said. Art takes time and practice. So if you don't have those two things together, or you don't have patience at all, maybe art's not gonna be good for you. I'm just gonna be hard truths here. So think about how patient you are, and think about what kind of artwork you want to do, and start nuancing yourself with practice on how to do that. If you want to do realism, it's best to try and do direct copies of pictures or people from life. If you want to do, or objects, actually, objects from life. If you want to do or comic book style, read comics. Absorb that information, but not too much. Learn the basics of drawing a circle for the head, and then the gesture for the body, and then you'll be all set. This next one I can't stress enough. Draw every day. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what you're doing, draw every day. In the words of Jim Lee, just draw. It's beneficial to you. You don't have to have a sketchbook or Prismacolor pencils or Micron pens or anything like that to just draw every day. You can literally use a number 2 pencil and notebook paper or copy paper from your printer. If you're at school, find a notebook that you can draw in. If you're at work, sneak a piece of paper from the printer or bring your own. As far as I'm concerned, there is no excuse to not make time to draw every day. Now that we have that out of the way, I can get to the bonus tip. Art is subjective. So something that somebody might not like of yours might mean the world to somebody else. So never stop arting. Never stop doing what you do. And as far as I'm concerned, all art is beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button and also subscribe and share. If you want to see some more of my stuff, I do have a couple time lapses on a playlist on my channel, and you can watch those here. And you can subscribe.